Welcome to day 128. Did you make it on time? Did you catch your flight that you were supposed to? Deadlines. We all have deadlines in our lives. Some of the deadlines are imposed by society, and the most important deadlines are the deadlines that we set ourselves. A deadline to lose a certain amount of weight or to gain a certain amount of weight. A deadline to how much money you're going to have in your savings account. A deadline when you're going to ask her out. A deadline when you're going to get a book finished. A book that you started that's got great information that you want to get, but you keep postponing it. My last book, over 3 weeks it took me to read it because I didn't have a deadline. Let other people set your deadlines, or you set your deadlines. Now, I had an opportunity just recently to fly, and the airline sets a deadline for me. They've got it now that I've got to be there 30 to 40 minutes before the plane takes off so that they can sell all the seats possible and so they can have an easy flow. It's their system. Now, I'm working to figure out a different way to fly other than flying commercial. Commercial's great for sometimes, but sometimes we need to have a better schedule. Last weekend I was extremely busy. Thursday evening I flew out and I had to make a transfer in Denver. And so it took about 6 hours for this trip, which could have taken about 3.5 hours or 4 hours if I would have been able to fly nonstop. There weren't any nonstop flights available from Oklahoma City to Reno, Nevada, so I had to transfer. Deadlines. What self-imposed deadlines do you have? Someone comes to you and they say, hey, I want you to get this done. You say, okay, I'll do it. But there's no deadline. When someone comes to me today, I want to know when the job's going to be done. What's the deadline? I asked a friend of mine to take care of a situation that's been going on since June, and today is September. So this thing's been going on since June, several months, and it still is not finished. So last week, before I went out of town, I said, this has to be done before I get home. I came home on Labor Day, and I expected it to be done. I called him up. I said, is it done? And the answer was no. And I told him, I said, if you don't have this done before I get back, it is not gonna be pretty. We do things because we want to or because we have to. Because we want to or have to. And since this had drug out so long, I figured if I shared, it is not gonna be pretty. If this is not done, it would be done. If you cannot make a deadline, and you've made a commitment to somebody else to do whatever the action is on a certain date at a certain time, and you can't do it, and you're aware of that, say 24 hours or 48 hours in advance, you should contact that person and say, I'm not going to make the deadline. He didn't do that. He didn't even ask for assistance from anybody around him that could have helped him to have a successful ending. I blew up. I got emotional. Last night and this morning, I was not acting out of my higher self. I wasn't in a loving situation. I was in a scarcity situation. I had stacked all the reasons why this should have been done. I also stacked all the reasons why it wasn't done. My expectations were not met. Now, this is a friend, but this is also a friend that is on my payroll, that gets paid. And he is paid to execute. And he shared with me excuses for why it wasn't done. It doesn't matter what the excuses are. It needed to be done. If you set a deadline and you don't do it, excuses are worthless. Reasons are worthless. It is a deadline. The airplane is getting ready to leave the airport. It's supposed to leave at a certain time. If they have issues, mechanical issues, or people on the plane issues, or any weather, anything, they're missing their deadline. It should be #1 priority if you set a deadline to make the deadline happen. No excuses, no reasons. Hit the deadline. Now, I'm going to tell you that I don't always hit my deadlines. I don't write my stuff down. I should write my stuff down. If I give you a promise, if I tell you, I give you my word, that I need to do it no matter what. Live with deadlines. Deadlines are great. Make things happen. Be one of the people that other people can count on. When you give your word, you're going to do what you say you're going to do. Intensify the threat yourself. Intensify the reward yourself to that deadline. When we accomplish things on time, before the deadline, we feel great. Now, it's September, and we're headed towards December the 25th. It's a secret, I know, but that's Christmas Day. And it is a tradition in our family and in my community to give gifts. Now, in the past, I've waited until December the 20th to go buy gifts. This year, I'm going to start buying gifts now, and I'm going to wrap those gifts, and I'm going to put them strategically so I see them. So I've got my wife's gift, some of my daughter's gifts, some of my friends' gifts, and I know that they're going to get these gifts on December the 25th on time. Every time I look at that gift, I'm going to have a positive feeling. But if I have a list of things that I'm going to buy for people's Christmas presents, and I don't have those gifts, every time I look at that list, I'm going to have stress because I haven't purchased the gifts. So the best way to hit a deadline is to hit it in advance. Do your planning, take your action, stay committed, make it happen. Deadlines. They suck, but they can be incredible at the same time. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave your comments down below how you've learned how to hit your deadlines successfully. And why don't you give me some of your lame excuses why you don't hit your deadlines? I've got these lame excuses for myself. Maybe you got something really creative to tell me why you don't hit your deadlines. Thank you for watching.